Alright, I'm going to show changing the belt on a 2020 model year Toro Super Recycler. It's got the Briggs & Stratton engine. If you look on the green tag there, I think that's where it says the model year. And yes, right above, right next to where it says replacement. So you can see what model year it is. And hopefully this won't be too bad. One word of warning to everybody who has one of these, I learned the hard way. If you ever tip it over to do any service from the underside, tip it with the gas tank up, not down, or you will end up, well, depending on how long you have it there, with a bunch of oil running into the air filter. When the belt originally had an issue, I wasn't sure exactly what it was, and I just flipped it over in a hurry without thinking, and I flipped it the other way with the oil filler side up. Ended up with my air filter completely saturated with oil. Luckily, it doesn't look like much ran into the carburetor, but yeah, it makes a mess. So don't do it that way. Gas side up if you ever flip it over. All right, on to the repair. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I think this will give me access, is take off this panel here. I don't have a stand or anything for the phone, so I'm just going to do it in steps and then splice all these videos together. Alrighty, that popped off very easily with a 3/8" socket. And wow, a lot of crud under here, so use this opportunity to clean that out. And the reason I wanted access from this side, obviously I'm going to have to tip it over too to get the belt off the motor side, but needed to get to this cover that's on the pulley here. Hopefully I can get in there and get that off without taking everything apart and taking the whole axle off. We'll see, but that cover has to come off in order to get the belt around the pulley. Okay, I've got that mostly cleaned off, but I wanted to stop and make a comment before I forget. My belt actually doesn't look all that worn. It is worn, but somehow it popped off. And so I think something got wedged in and went around the pulley and popped it off, and maybe if some it was that crud. So now that I know how much that builds up in there, I will be popping this cover off much more frequently to clean that out, just in case that was the cause. And anyhow, so that might be some maintenance you guys want to do too. All right, now let's get that cover off if I can. I can see one bolt there down on the side. Let's see if I can zoom in there. There's one there to get the cover off. And we'll see if I can get that off so I can just get the belt off that pulley real easily. Alrighty, so I probably could have popped this off at this end, but it was a little easier to pop the cable off up here at the handle where this normally connects in there. And I just popped that off so that the pulley down here would drop down, and yes, should be able to easily get to those two bolts. So, well, this is unfortunate. Gee, thanks Toro. Those are not hex, they are square. I forget what that type of head is called, and I don't have the tool, so I'm gonna have to go buy one. There's 3 of them. There's one there, and one a little bit further back in the corner. You can't see it very well, but when it's tipped more you can. And so, alright, looks like I'm making a quick run to Harbor Freight. Or Ace. Well, I didn't have to go to Harbor Freight after all. Something made me want to look in this really old thing. This is why I never throw away crap. This is a junky battery operated set that someone gave me as a gift a long time ago. Doesn't work very well. It never worked very well, but for some reason I saved it, and I'm glad I did. It had the right bits in there. So it is now off, and you can see how easy it's going to be to pop the belt off of that. All it was those 3 screws on that cover. Okay, so take that off. I'm just going to push that in there, and I bet I can get it from the underneath. Alright, so from the underside, you can see I can actually get this off without taking the blade off. However, not going to be able to get it back on around that pulley. I won't need to take the blade off, but I need to get this belt shroud off of here. And that's just a couple of, I think half-inch bolts. So that'll be really easy. Now, just to show you where those bolts are. So one of them is right here, and the other is right there. Very easy to do without even having to take the blade off. Although I could probably use a new blade. Alright, just so you can see, when I get those bolts out, there's actually two pieces. There's this, that makes it the pulley accessible, and then there's the other part of the shroud, which I really don't need off, but it's the same bolts. So this is going to be really easy now to get the belt around the pulley. And here's my new belt, Toro 115-4669. I'll just get this past the blade, onto the pulley, and I will stick it through the hole there, get it on the pulley on the other side. Alright, I decided this would be easier to do with the mower flipped back up. So you can see, there's the belt from the other side. I can get it around this pulley. I need to get that cover on so it doesn't pop off. And then I can put tension on the pulley, and I left the shroud on the bottom off, just in case it happens to pop off that pulley while I'm doing this. I can put it around that one last. But I think I'm going to be good. Alright, that was simple enough. It's around the pulley. Next I guess I will attach this. It might be easier done from the bottom. And I got to put the shroud back on the bottom. So let's tip the mower back over one more time. Alright, I have it tipped back over. Again, always tip it with the gas tank side up. One more thing I need to do before I put that shroud on, and that is reconnect the cable up here with the handle. And I'm going to need to give it more slack because it is the new belt. I mean, you could see it would go in there, but I can't quite get it in. And that makes sense because the new belt isn't stretched like the old one was. So I'm going to have to release the tension. It's just this nut on here. Release the tension a little bit, put that on, reset the tension after I get everything back together. Since I've been mentioning sizes, it's a 7/16 inch socket to loosen this up. Alright, you can see that now that there's tension up top, belt is pulled nicely on here. I'll adjust the tension after I get all done, but I will put these two pieces back on. This one actually sat underneath. It used the same bolts, but this one was underneath with the larger piece. Where'd it go? Oh, over here. Over it. So let me get those back on. Alright, it's all buttoned back up. This is over here covering the belt. Hopefully it will never pop off again until, well, at least not for a few more years. And now all I need to do is flip it over and set the tension on again for the personal pacer to my liking, and we're done. Alright, not quite done. Once I flipped it over, I realized, okay, I gotta put that back on too. That's just this plastic piece with one bolt. Alright, mission accomplished. And there's probably people saying, why in the world did you buy a Toro lawnmower with a Briggs & Stratton engine instead of a Toro engine? Well, the main reason was this was purchased as a previous year model with a really nice discount from my local Ace Hardware, handy Ace Hardware in Tucker, Georgia. And it was, couldn't pass it up. Plus, my last lawnmower was 22 or 23 years old. It was a Craftsman back when they were decent lawnmowers. The engine still ran like a champ, but I couldn't get parts for it anymore. The handle was cracked. It had cracked twice. I had that welded twice. I just gave up on it. The transmission was starting to go on it was a front wheel drive. But that Briggs & Stratton engine on that Craftsman lasted forever, so hopefully this one will too. And anyhow, hope you enjoyed the video. It's really not difficult to change this belt at all, at least on this model. Just a little bit of time and patience and you're good. You just need those square head, I think it's called a S2. It's the number 2 not size square head for that one shroud that's over the belt back on the tensioner transmission area. That is it. Wait, one last thing I forgot to mention. Some people are probably wondering why I was flipping it over on its side when I have one of these that you can just flip up on its end and get to the bottom this way. Well, I could have done that, but then I'd have to be flipping the handle back and forth when I'm going from side to side. Plus, yeah, because if I left the handle like that, then you got to be working around the handle to work down in here and stuff. So it just seemed more logical to flip it over on its side, which is totally fine as long as you do it the right way with the gas side up. And I guess that is now the end of the video. Bye.